This video is on linear functions and slope-intercept form. These examples, we will be writing an equation in slope-intercept form, given information, not just the slope and the y-intercept. Our first example says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, given the slope and a point on the line. As a recall, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your the value of your y-intercept. So if we're given the slope, we already have half of our answer, and we have to find our y-intercept. If we are given two coordinates that don't have anything that you're not given the slope for, you have to find your slope. So in this case, we are given the slope and a point. We are not told that this is the y-intercept. We are told it is a random point. So looking at our information, we have the slope is equal to 2, and the point is 5, negative 3. So we know that the slope is 2, so that is still our m. We are told our m value, so I can actually put that as blue, the same way I did for my slope. But then we have a point, 5, negative 3. Well, 5, using this information, y equals mx plus b, 5 is not the b value, and neither is negative 3. 5 is, however, an x. Negative 3 is a y. So what that means is that we are told the slope and we need to find the y-intercept value. We have the m, we need to solve for b. That means we can substitute these values into their correct variables and solve for the missing value. So we have y. Y was the negative 3. Negative 3 equals. Then we have m. M was 2, because that is our slope. Times, so now I'm going to multiply parentheses, x. X was the 5. Then plus b. I do not know what the b value is, so I put plus b. The only variable we are missing now is b. We need to solve for b. So to solve for this, I have negative 3 equals 2 times 5, which is 10, plus b. I'm going to solve for b by subtracting the 10. So b will equal negative 3 minus 10 is negative 13. Now that we have our slope, our m value, and our b value, this is now our b value. I'm going to underline that in green. I have the m and the b. We can write the equation in slope-intercept form. I again want to write it as y equals mx plus b, but replace the m and replace the b. This math was to help us solve for the b value. Our equation in slope-intercept form will be y equals m, which is 2, x plus b, which is negative 13. So it will just be minus 13. This is our equation in slope-intercept form, given the slope of 2 and the point 5, negative 3. If I do this again, we are given, on part B, we are given slope of negative 3. So again, that is, I'm going to underline that in blue, because that is our slope. Our 0.95 is not the y-intercept, because we are not given the x value of 0. So our 9 is our x, and our 5 is our y. I still need the underlined green. I need that green value to find b. So I'm going to use the y equals mx plus b and substitute the values that I have into slope-intercept form. First thing is y, which is 5. So we have 5 equals m, which is our negative 3, times x, so I'm going to do parentheses, our x is 9, and then plus b. I do not know what b is, so I'm going to put plus b. The only variable we have remaining is b, so we are going to solve for b. Solving for b, we have 5 equals Negative 3 times 9 is negative 27, plus b. I'm going to solve for b by adding 27 to both sides. So b will equal to 32. Now that I have b, I'm going to underline that in green because that's telling me that I have the blue m and the green b. Now that I have those, we're going to only substitute the m and the b back into this so we can have our linear function. Our linear function equation will be y equals m is -3, x plus b, which b is positive 32, so it'll be plus 32. This is the equation of the line given a slope and a coordinate. You could write the equation in point slope form and then distribute and convert it to slope intercept form. That is a possibility, but if we're just using slope intercept form to do this, you would utilize x and y in those locations. Now example 4 says write the equation of the line in slope intercept form given 2 points. This problem, we do not have a slope. So that means that we have to find both slope and y-intercept. So recalling y equals mx plus b. I need my slope. I'll underline that in blue. And we need our y-intercept value, which I'll underline in green. On this problem, we are not told either of those information. We are not told slope. We are not said m equals. We do not have the y-intercept, the x value of 0. We don't have any of that. So we have to find both pieces. On example 3 here, we had the slope and then a point. So from here, we actually want to find the slope first. So our first step is to find the slope. Which is change in y over change in x. And I'll go back and do the actual formula of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. My y sub, I can even do y sub 1 and x sub 1 first. I'll just go for the first coordinate. So I'll do the y, -4 minus 5 divided by, now my x's, since I started with -4, I'll start with -1 in the denominator. -1 minus the next x is 2. -4 minus 5 is -9, divided by -1 minus 2 is -3. -9 divided by -3 is equal to +3. That tells us that our slope, m, is equal to 3. We now have our blue underline. Next, we're going to go back to how we did on example 3. Now that we have a slope, we can find the b value by plugging in a coordinate that we already have. So our next step will be to find the b value, since we already found the slope. Find b. With this, you just want to pick a coordinate. Now, both of these coordinates are allowed to be used. You could pick either coordinate and plug it in like we did on example 3. It doesn't matter which coordinate. I am going to pick the coordinate 2, 5. So in this case, my y is 5. Equals, my slope of m is 3. That's what we just found. Times the x, so if my y was 5, my x is 2. Plus b. I do not know what b is, so I put plus b. I solve for b the same way I did over here on example 3. 5 equals 3 times 2 is 6 plus b. So I need to get b by itself, or 6 plus what gives me 5? Well, I know I need to go down, so 6 minus 1 gives us 5. So b has to be -1. Now we have our b value. So our last step is substitute m and b. So the same way we did on example 3. But this time we had to actually find the m to be able to substitute it. So we're going to write our equation the same way we have been. So y equals, our slope is 3x plus b. Our b is -1, so it's 3x minus 1. Our equation in slope-intercept form is y equals 3x minus 1. Now, again, I chose to use, I had my slope. I had to use both coordinates to find the slope. And then I chose to use 2, 5 for my point. I could have used the -1, -4 if I wanted to. I'm going to make a little note about that. At this step right here, step 2, you could use coordinate -1, -4 for the x and y. If you wanted to. You do not have to, you only have to pick one point. One of the reasons why I chose to use 2, 5 was because both of those numbers were positive, so I did not have to deal with any negatives along the way. My answer for B became negative, and that's fine, but I did not have to actually use a negative minus something, so I was using positive numbers the entire time. So my mental math at 6 plus what gives me 5 was a little bit simpler to work with. So this is writing the equation in slope-intercept form, given different pieces of information. If you're given the slope and a point, you already have the slope, and you plug in the point to find your b value. If you're given 2 coordinates, you have to find the slope first, but then you find the b value the exact same way.